All right, class, so I am making a short recording going over how we annotate articles, specifically nonfiction articles that you would find in a newspaper or on a news site. When I talk about article annotation or analytic reading, nonfiction, I'm pretty much talking about marking up a text. And this is a good practice to use. If you're someone that really struggles with reading, I encourage you guys to print out everything that I post on Canvas. It's a lot harder to do online than it is in person with a paper and a pencil. But we'll go over some strategies for that, and I'll show you how it's done. All right. So good readers, we annotate in order to gain a better understanding of what we're reading. Annotations are notes of any kind, any form, any shape or size. The strategies that I'm giving you, as you guys develop in your own educational journeys, as you go through high school and beyond to college, you're going to find different ways that you annotate and you mark up your text. And as a reader, this is something that I do all the time. If you ever borrow a book from me, you might see my scribbles in the margins. So it's just good practice, and it helps you retain the information better. Okay, I'm going to skip over this. This is just a analytic reading guide that can help you. These are just some good strategies to use. For example, if you see the main idea of an article, it helps to put a little star next to it. If you find any new, exciting, surprising information, you can put a little exclamation mark next to it, maybe a little smiley face. There's really no correct way to do this. You want to do what works best for you. But as you're reading text, it's always good to underline that main idea, circle those words that are confusing to you, and definitely highlight or mark up information that you think will be helpful to you at a later time. So at Irvin High School, English teachers, we like to do something called tagging our articles. When I talk about tagging, you, as a reader, before you read the article, you want to make note of the title, the author, and the genre. Okay, when I talk about titles, it's the main headline. It's what the page is. It says at the very top in big letters. And as readers, this really tells us what the article is going to be about. It's the first thing that we look at. Now, when I ask you to look at the author, understand that I'm not just asking you to look at the author, but I want you to also look at the publication itself. All right, if you're looking for something for a research paper, you don't just want to look at the article. You want to see what newspaper or what news site you got this information from, because there are definitely some newspapers that are better than others. And then lastly, when I talk about genre, I want you to tell me, is this a sports story? Is this an informational article like the one that we'll be reading? Or, is it a feature story? Is it a story about a person or a place or a thing? Oh, and I'm getting ahead of myself here, but it's also good practice to number those paragraphs. If we were in a classroom setting, I pretty much just make this a mandatory thing to do. So as we read the article aloud together, if we have something interesting that I want to point out to you, I might tell the class as a whole, like, oh, hey, check out paragraph 3. And everyone will easily find paragraph 3 and find what I'm trying to direct your attention to. As we're doing this Canvas course, it's not really that big of a help, but it might help you. All right, so read the text one line at a time. All right, sometimes we have questions or sometimes we're confused. That's why it's good to use these question marks when you find something that confuses you. So if you keep on reading the article and you're still confused about that point, you can come back to it and do some further research. That basically goes over that. And what helps too? Instead of just putting that question mark, you might want to write your questions that you're asking yourself through the article on the side as well. It's a great way to mark your text. And is this it? All right, I guess this is it. So I'm also going to be giving you guys a link to another video I did. This video basically goes over how I personally like to annotate articles and how I usually instruct my own students to do it. Understand that I made this video actually for class. I am currently getting my master's in education, and one of my homework assignments required me to just kind of go through a lesson, and this lesson had me annotating articles with my students. So just understand I made this video with that purpose in mind. But the strategies are still the same. I'll be talking to an imaginary class throughout the video, so go ahead and laugh at me. I don't really care. But it's definitely helpful, and it'll help you as you annotate in the future. So thanks for watching. Have a good one.